makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's our easily surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best. GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's our easily surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best.
It's time to open up, to let your heart decide what's true.
GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's our easily surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best. GameCube, it makes a big fuss. GameCube, Nintendo bless us. GameCube, it's how we recently surpass the rest, and when it comes to games, we'll always get the best.
Even now, in a place that's so lonely, there's a fire so strong. It feeds from my thoughts and it changes my words. It changes my vision, but it takes so long to get through. Bundle of nails, a shake when I'm talking. My trembling fingers finding all too much to bear. A bundle of nails is set for the taking. I need to stop shaking or I blow my chance again. Take a bow to the strangest of feelings. Is it really so strange? I'm lost in the haze, but I felt it before. I remember I heard it in an old song, and I know how it feels, 'cause I'm a bundle of nails. I shake when I'm talking. My trembling fingers find it all too much to bear. For a bundle of nails, it's set for the taking. I need to stop shaking or I blow my chance again. Don't say what you wanna say. Sleepless nights are here to stay. I wear away the carpet in my room. Now well before the breakout day, my fingernails now been chewed away. I'm starting on my knuckles pretty soon. Maybe now, if you pause
my uncle, tell my aunt I got my teeth in nice and straight. Chicken nuggets in my pants, I'm on my way to the Buckeye State. Ohio, round on the end, high in the middle. Ohio, Ohio, Ohio.
Left my home in Timbuktu with my banjo on my knee.
Look at me, I'm Sandra Dee.
On our way to Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Round on the end, high in the middle. Here's a riddle, what's round on the end and high in the middle?
Oh yeah, it's Switzerland.
No, it's Ohio, Ohio.
Oh hell, hi, Up in Cincinnati, there's a gal named Clarabelle. If she knew I was on my way, I'm pretty sure she'd run like.
Hello, Cleveland. Hello, Toledo. Hello, Columbus.
Buongiorno, Bracca.
Ohio, Ohio. Round on the end, high in the middle. Here's a riddle, what's round on the end and high in the middle?
Oh, I know this. It's.
No, it's Ohio, Ohio. Stupid dummy.
Listen and you'll hear the heartbeat of a universe teeming with force. See all the forms and the faces of nature taking its course. And feel all the wonderful motion flowing through things far and near. Nature will share her secrets when we are ready to hear energy. These are a few of your faces, glowing in timeless places, bringing our lives new graces. Energy, there is no living without you. We must keep learning about you. Now is the time to find how to. Energy, you are profound. You make the world go round and round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round. You make the world go round.
Thank you, Energy. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? It's Wednesday? It's just Wednesday? Is that right? Hope you're all having a weekend. Sorry for the somewhat strange lighting. It's my spooky lighting. So it's a bit darker in the room for me, so I can be immersed. My final text is, yes, I did. Sure was fun. Sure was fun. Great stuff when your taxes aren't. I have a lot of different revenue streams right now, and a lot of them aren't taxed immediately, so. Fun stuff. How are you all doing? We got a lot of, look at this, JT World Peace. Thank you so much for 21 months. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well, JT. Thank you. We have a hype train right now. It looks like Bear in Mind 812. Thank you for 12 months. Bear in mind, you just got your spicy bubble badge. Hope you enjoy that. Appreciate it. Thank you. Look at all these coming in. Jolly Jailbot with 13 months. Thank you, Jolly Jailbot. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're not actually in jail. But if you are, I appreciate that you're jolly. Anyway, Stinky Denny. Hey, Stinky Denny. Good to see you. 24 months. Look at all these people getting badges. That's a Mike McQuanchy badge. Appreciate that. Thank you so much, Stinky Denny. Violet Wren, thank you for following. Hope you're doing well. Warren Cook, thank you for the stream streak. Maple QB, thank you for following. B. Bailey, thank you for 43 months. My goodness, 43 months. Thank you. And yeah, I think we're caught up there. Oh, Black Mamba, thank you so much for 8 months. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great evening. Thank you, and thank you, Lord Crashington, for the stream streak. Human Battery, thank you for subscribing with Prime. Human Battery. Battery. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Dan did break today. I don't know if I've ever seen a Blake Club game get Dan that bad today. Guess I did it. It's like mission accomplished, you know? Dr. Feel Bad, thank you so much for 9 months. Dr. Feel Bad, he's the one that called Dr. Feel Bad. He's the one who makes you feel bad. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you're all doing well. I'm excited. I've got the PS2 plugged into my Retro 14 so we can play the OG Resident Evil 2. Well, pretty much OG. This is that DualShock version, which I think only makes it so you can use the analog sticks, which you won't want to, because you just use the analog sticks to move the tank characters, not like there's analog control, so stupid, right? But hey, that's what I have. So we're gonna start. The first time I've ever played OG Resident Evil 2. I played the remake and loved it. I think back when Resident Evil 2 came out in 1998, it didn't even occur to me to play it. I was way too afraid. The Super Station's not here yet, so we're using the Retro Tink right now. That's all good. That's all good. I know that Steam port came out too, and that has some nice things. I kind of like the idea of a PS1-ness of it. Yeah, I'm going to do both runs. And I guess I want to ask you guys, who should I do for the A route? What do you guys think? And I know some stuff. Like, I know some things about things. Like, I know Mr. X actually does not show up in the OG Resident Evil 2 until Route B. But I know that's a thing. There. Fire, maybe you can get a poll going. I'm not bound by the poll. Yeah, but let's see what people say. Curious. Also, let's make sure this is all working. I do have the Leon disc in right now, but that could change. Good, it's working. Fantastic. Look, you guys can see your chats. Isn't that nice? I wonder if I should make those bigger. Yeah, that's kind of small. Let's adjust that. Let me like. I'm gonna like make yeah, second 15, and then like maybe that should be more like. Then I can do this. Is that good enough? You get probably still even more. That's a lot of dialogue. Could probably make it a little smaller even. I've heard Claire's maybe a popular choice to do first. We could do Claire first. I did Leon first when I played the remake, so it might be a fun difference. Best PS1 game? I'm pretty sure that when I made my list recently, what did I say? I probably said Final Fantasy 9, Metal Gear Solid 1's probably by. Hey, babe! Hey, Noxy Potter, thank you for 15 bucks. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hope you got some voodoo chips. I want some voodoo chips. Yeah, let's work on that a little bit more. Let's like take like 750 and 850. I mean, oh, right, your sushi. Fancy sushi. I wish I liked sushi more. How's that look, guys? You think I should still make that maybe even smaller? I mean, that's a lot of text. I think that's probably good. That's probably pretty good. All right, so you know what? We need to probably restart anyways, because I want to make sure that there's room on this memory card and that's all working. So let's open up that tray. Set. No, don't put the disc in. I forget how PS2s work. I made a skeet about that was PS2 related, and I'm concerned it may have been too spicy. I might want to keep this manual out. I might need it. God, does anything feel better than a double PS1 jewel case? When you got a PS1 game that holds more than one disc, you know you're in for an amazing time. Let's be honest. $26 kilobytes free. How much? That's a lot of... Yeah, we could probably get rid of everything but the clear data. Oh, I'm fucking deleting this rascal. Well, now all of a sudden I've convinced myself that it's somehow historically important. You can probably delete this crash save. What's the worst game that ever came on multiple discs? That's a good question. Gotta be some. Yeah, look, if I'm gonna play Crash Bandicoot again, I'm gonna play it from the start. Same with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1. Copy them to a PS2 cartridge. Definitely don't need all of these. Hey, Masters, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. I don't know if I need the clear data. Let's just get rid of these two at least. Probably enough. Okay. That's probably good. Actually, should probably stay on the browser. Most regular PS1 game cases are, yeah, normal dual cases, which is candy. If you get a game that has a bad case, you can kind of just take the stuff out. All right. There she is. There's Claire, everybody. She's going in. PS2's vertical, so it's a little awkward putting these things in. Want to see the controls? Don't you mean Rebecca? You scared me for a moment. Don't get me going with that. I'll be in big trouble. General advice. Is it worth, like, aiming up for the headshots on the zombies? Because sometimes then... Or should I just be body shotting them for consistency? It's hard to know how close they have to be for those headshots, you know? Yeah, probably worth it. Oh, sorry for that, everybody. Yeah, I've heard this video isn't that hard. I bet this is going to be pretty easy compared to the trials and tribulations of Resident Evil 0. Oh, never mind. We can't play this. Hell yeah. I associate this with Mega Man 8. Mega Man X4 also. Let me know what the game value is, everybody. Wow. I wonder what this would have been like if they still used live action. Volume's good? Perfect. What's exciting is that not only is this, like, important for my playing every Resident Evil journey, this is kind of, I'm a big proponent of 1998 maybe being the best year in video games. And I have not played this one. This is one of the best games that came out that year, right? So, this is good for me. Any options I need to mess around with? I'm sure that's fine. Sound. Oh, I can actually just change it here. Monaural. Yeah, no, we want stereo. 1998. I'll never forget it. Monitor, just no. Right. Oh, I played a lot of the 1998 hits at the time. Like, I played, like, you know, Pokemon, Metal Gear Solid, Ocarina of Time, Grim Fandango. I played all those things in 1998. My girlfriend just informed me she was 5 then. And what's funny is, so I played Resident Evil 1, the original, right after I played the remake. We did it for the Game S Game Club maybe a couple years ago. And like I love the remake, but then I was like, oh, I'll start the OG just for fun. I did it on an emulator, and I just played through the whole thing. I'm like, this is really good too, still actually. So I know I'm gonna have a good time with this. We don't need easy, I'm assuming.
Resident Evil.
I miss that guy who says Resident Evil. Or the other big 98 games. This. StarCraft in 98. Hey, it's that guy.
A bizarre incident occurred in the outskirts of an American suburb called Raccoon City. It was later revealed that the terrible disaster had been caused by the T virus, a mutagenic toxin created by the international enterprise Umbrella Incorporated for use in bioweapon experiments.
Rippenegger, of course.
The
Oh,
Raccoon
Xenogears.
City Police Department's Special Stars Unit immediately began investigation in it. The case was apparently closed, thanks to the efforts of STARS members Chris
Would you like me to
Redfield
text Jeff?
and Jill Valentine.
Thief. I want to play Thief.
But
Game's
the
a tad
Umbrella
loud.
Corporation's experiments were far from finished.
I don't know if that's better. Oh shit, he's cool. I mean, she's cool. That was sexist. I apologize. I immediately assumed the motorcycle was for the guy. And I'm just gonna have to own up to that. My girlfriend here, who speaks on behalf of all women, will absolve me of this, right? Right?
I'm finally here.
No. Shit. Damn it. No subtitle option, probably. Whoa! Hell yeah. Look at this resolution.
Guy's a maniac. Why'd he bite me?
Right about back. Oh, yeah, this was big. Yeah, oh, yeah, this was a big deal back then. I mean, this is. You could see the Resident Evil 1 money in this game.
Hello? Is anyone here? Hello?
Plus, once we beat this, we can play Code Veronica sometime. That's kind of a direct sequel to this game.
Hello?
Yeah, also OG3. Hey, that looked a lot like the other zombie.
Look, I'm sorry I bothered you, okay? Just don't come any closer. Are you listening?
Ah. I played the Xenoblade games, and I like them fine. I don't think I like them as much as some people. I have not played Xenogears.
Wait! Don't shoot!
Get down!
That's Leon Kennedy.
We
Hey,
can't
Fish
stay
Isle.
here.
Thank you for
Head
10
to the
months.
police station. It'll be a lot safer.
Then off we go.
There. Buckle up.
Okay.
It's funny because like the voice acting is definitely much better than it was in 1. Yet there's still a
What's going on?
A PS1-ness of it.
And the whole place went
Great.
insane.
The radio's out.
You're a cop, right?
Yeah, first day on the job. Great, huh? Name's Leon Kennedy. Nice to meet you.
Mine's Claire. Claire Redfield. I came to find my brother, Chris.
Oh, right. Right, Mega Man Legends definitely has better quality voice acting than this even.
Did you open the glove box?
Sure. There's a gun inside.
Better take it with you.
I like how that zombie looks like Leon. Right? It has Leon's haircut. I think they copied his model. Whee!
You okay?
Still in one piece.
Hey! That maniac's gonna whip us! Run!
I guess everyone had that haircut in the 90s, yeah. The volume good now, everyone? Probably not going to be this loud quite again for a while.
Leon!
I'm okay.
Yeah, all
Head to
good?
the station. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
I love you can, like, see the little squares. It is wild that they were able to port this game to N64. Alright, well, so, they were parted by an unescapable destiny. This is just the beginning of their worst nightmare. Rob Nosaurus, thank you. What? Thank you so much for following. Appreciate that, Rob. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you. What am I texting Jeff? Where's my phone? Here it is. Ask Jeff how his tum-tum is. All right. Good question. Great question. Dun, 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 dun. Fudsack wants to know how your tum-tum is. Yeah. Also wild that this is a game that they basically, like, they tried to make once and even released a demo of the first attempt, and then they scrapped it and made it again. Okay, how do I play this video game? Hold down square to run, R draws weapon, X shoots when drawn. I could probably just run away from this man, though. Oh, yeah. Oh. This way. Yeah. Tank controls, baby. God, these speedrunner backgrounds look sweet. Oh, these are some chunky polygons. I love it. Get off of me. Get off of me. Oh, yeah. This is sweet. We're doing okay? Get me in this gunshot. X? Yeah. Good. It's just because, like, part of me, wondered about just, like, getting the GameCube version of this or the Dreamcast version, even or playing the Steam, which is, like, they look a little bit better. Whoa.
Who are you? What are you doing here?
Yeah, it's one N64
Don't shoot!
cart.
I'm a human.
That's what Bill Brasky said. No, that's what Bill Brasky's friend said. Don't shoot. He's a human.
Sorry about that, babe.
Babe. Don't call me babe.
I thought you were one of them.
What's going on in this town?
Hold on.
Sorry about that, babe.
I ain't got no clue, darling.
Don't
By
call
the
me
time I
darling
noticed
either.
something was wrong, the entire city was infested with zombies.
Yeah, so just make sure that there's no subtitles, which isn't shocking in this era. Alright, here's that. God, I love the look of this stuff. Is she a master of unlocking as well? Okay. Good. I think I saw some ammo over here. Oh, well, bye. Sorry, buddy. I did not see the Spear Hunter lore videos yet. I think I'm gonna wait till I've kind of beaten everything. Okay, is that more ammo right here? Quick, you distract him with your brains. Alright, I'm out of here. I can get his weapon and it's really bad. Well, then let's not bother with that. Guess I did wonder about that. It's funny because, like, I could have used the tank controls in Resident Evil 0 and I just didn't, but, like, every time I'm forced to use them, I do like them. We're going to actually shoot these zombies now, huh? Yeah, they're pretty weak. Oh. Oh, get off of me. I thought you were dead. Yeah. off of me. So far, so good. Rush for tank control games. Oh, Resident Evil 1. Or maybe Resident Evil 1. Tomb Raider. Fandango. Silent Hill. God, I love the way this stuff looks. Why am I hearing a zombie now? Where's my health? I got... I'm still fine. Mega Man Legends? Maybe. I love Mega Man Legends, I don't know. This is the first female zombie we've ever seen in these games. Stop that. Get off of the thing. Damn it. Oh, wait. We're fine, we're fine. Misty, what, you guys, she has a name? What, are you all in love with that zombie? Sorry, buddy. See, the game thinks I'm gonna shoot all these people. Get the fuck off me! That was bullshit. I can't even see you. Yeah, take that. Nice head. Oh, come on. No shit, now I'm not okay. Taking some damage. It's quite an intro. The backstory info as I mentioned game was brought up in a developer interview, if you want to. Is it about Misty? Oh boy. This may be a bit ambitious, but yeah, okay. Nice, Mikey. Oh, god damn it! Where'd you even come from? Caution. How do I... There we go. Doesn't want to go that way. Want to get in. Oh, he's push exit now. Stay. Reason Leon was in Raccoon to start late because he slept in late because he had hangover and he had a bed on his girl's girl. I did actually know that stuff. Yeah, I think I've heard that before. Isn't that the entrance? Well, here we are. We made it. Ooh, cool. Yeah, this is a great location. This music rules too. Obtain the key to open your heart. Yeah, open your heart, dude. I'll wait for the unicorn. Beautiful beast. Gotcha. Lexi, thank you so much for 22 months. Appreciate you fixed Dan's list. Oh, gosh. You'll report back to me on that. I'm locked in the PS1. It's not easy for me to look up stuff right now. Now, which one? Interesting. This layout is a bit different. I feel like this section was closer to the front door in the remake. Alrighty. Oh, hell yeah. I need a card key. Oh, this music rules. Yes, I will. And we'll immediately save. Player A. I know I'm gonna play both routes, but I'm not gonna like then do Leon A, Claire B to see the very small differences there. I'm not gonna do that. 'Cause I don't want to. That guy.
Hang
He was in the
there.
lobby in the remake.
Are you the only officer left in the building?
Who are you?
Marvin.
Claire Redfield. I'm looking for my brother Chris.
We lost contact with him over 10 days ago. Chris, Jill Barry. Every last STARS team member has disappeared. We
Not
should have
Barry!
listened to them.
What happened?
About 2 months ago, there was this incident involving these zombie-like creatures.
I don't think I realized it was that long of a
in
time
a mansion
difference.
located in the outskirts of this city. Chris and the other STARS members discovered that Umbrella was behind everything, at the risk of their own lives. But no one believed them.
No.
Are you okay?
No.
Don't worry about me. Just rescue the survivors in the other rooms. Here, take this key card.
Oh, I needed that.
should
Thank
be
you.
able to unlock the doors in the hall with this. Now go.
But
Just go.
okay. Just hang in there. I'll be back
Aiming the gun at
soon.
me. I think I remember AJ watching this part of the demo, and I think even at that time, I was like a kid, I was like, seeing a person die is too scary. Oh, he locked the door. I don't want to play this game. You- Yeah, see, I feel like if a zombie is close enough to me that I can aim up to hit their heads, often they're so close that they're going to damage me. So it's kind of better to shoot some of them from further away. Excuse me. Woo. No, all right. Having item boxes back is gonna feel like a luxury. After Resident Evil 0. Is that an item box? Please, this letter is for everyone about the recent movement of equipment that has happened during the precinct's rearrangement. Safe with the 4-digit lock has been moved from the STARS office on the second floor to the Eastern office. Second floor. Yeah. And here we go. Two, 3, 6. Which one? Eastern office. 1 floor. 1F Eastern office. Gotcha. Anything in the trash? Damn. Alright, the item box. Can I put my ribbon in there? I think it's an item box. Yes, sir. I don't really know what the knife's gonna be useful for in this one. I actually have, so I have Resident Evil 3, like the OG, on GameCube, so when I play that, I will actually probably play that version for funsies. Oh, nice. Oh, okay. Good to have. Did Jeff ever say anything about his health? No. Yeah. Let's not assume the worst. The pin message. Oh, he popped in here to say that? Oh no. Well then shit. R.I.P. to a real one. There appears to be discarded files inside. Maybe like a drip? Where's that electricity? Oh, who got the cord? Who did this? Oh, there's the dripping. It's blood. No. Start learning this map. I hope that's not Chris's blood. Alright, we need the spade key. Get a little bloodbath. Oh shit! Oh, wait. You're gonna make me deal with liquors already? I'm not ready for this. For fuck's sake. Jesus. Oh my god. Right. They have bad hearing, so in the future, I could be quiet. But it was good to kill that one. I mean, he's in a pretty prominent area. Oh, look at that. Shoot Hardware, PS2, technically, which, as you may know, is backwards compatible with the PlayStation 1. Here's my DualShock 2. Locked doors don't, like, show up any different. You can hook up your trance vibrator for extra immersion now. Okay. This is a good room. Ooh. Oh. I think... I saw that one version of the game change this cola to make it look a little bit less like Coca-Cola. Maybe it's the Dreamcast version and future versions. So that's fun. Music is sweet, man. But this game is still very good. An operation map. I wanna... Alright. Alright, listen up, everybody. Dan Riker is a criminal, and we're bringing him in. We're not gonna let him get away with these bad Mario opinions anymore. I want pictures of Spider-Man. That was good. That's fun. Anything else here to grab? What's this? This looks important. Operation report. The Raccoon Police Department was unexpectedly attacked by zombies. Also, zombies are real. Many have been injured. Even more were killed. During the attack, our communication equipment was destroyed, and we no longer have contact with the outside. We decided to carry out an operation with the intent of rescuing any possible survivors, as well as to prevent this disaster from spreading beyond Raccoon City. The details of the operation, which we are calling Operation Raccoon City, are as follows. Security of armaments and communication. Chief Irons, who's just a great guy, we're gonna love him, has voiced concern regarding the issue of terrorism due to a series of recent unresolved incidents. On the very day before the zombies' attack, he made a decision to relocate all weapons to scattered intervals throughout the building. Oh, they explained that. As a temporary measure to prevent their possible seizure. Unfortunately, this decision has made it extremely difficult for us to locate all ammunition caches. Imagine that. It has become our top priority to recover these scattered munitions. Lucky for me. To unlock the weapon storage, I said earlier, it'd be extremely difficult to secure all the ammunition. However, thorough supply still remains in the underground weapon storage. Fortunately, the person in charge of the card key used to access the weapon storage is missing. We've been unable to locate the key. One of the breakers went down during the battle, and the electronic locks are not functioning in certain areas. You have a top priority to restore the power in the power room and secure those locks. Order David Ford. Operation report. The west barricade has been broken through, and another exchange ensued. We sheltered the injured. Confiscation room on the first floor temporarily. 12 more people were injured in the battle. 3 additional people were killed following the sudden appearance of an as-of-yet unknown creature. Probably a licker. Creature is identified by missing patches of skin and razor-like claws. Yep. However, it is most essential characteristic is its lance-like tongue, capable of piercing a human torso in an instant. The numbers as well as their location remain unknown. We have tentatively named this creature the Licker and are currently in the process of developing countermeasures to deal with this new threat. Good to know. What's this? It's a pretty sexy picture of a lady to be in, like, the briefing room. I think she's naked. You still have a pre-analog stick PS1 controller. I think I do somewhere. Not using that here, although it wouldn't matter. There's another. How many pictures of naked ladies are in this place? A sacrifice to the hellfire. What? Like fire, hellfire. This fire in my skin. This burning desire is turning me to sin. I know it's an art museum, but like it's a lot of weird naked ladies. Not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the devil, girl, the witch who set this flame. Gotta be careful singing these songs anymore. It's not my fault. If in God's plan, he made the devil so much stronger than a man. Protect me, Maria. All right. Let this iron caster spell. Her fires through my flesh and bones. Destroy Esmeralda, and let her taste the fires of hell, or else let her be mine and mine alone. Warhammer's approach. Ah, fuck. Okay, that's a lot of zombies. I'm scared. Can I leave for a moment? I want to reassess that situation. We're gonna have to shoot some of these zombies. I do wish that, like, there was a fast, map button. Jesus, how many times do I have to shoot you, lady? Oh, come on. Oh, this is going really bad. Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, boy. Ah, come on. Blowing it. Will you die? Stay down. What? Still says fine at least. Oh, I know this room. If you had to make a puzzle mansion, what theme would you use for all the keys and puzzles? I think the chess pieces is a classic. Maybe some Founding Father shit, because that could be kind of spooky. Like, you need the Jefferson key. Ooh. Favorite music. Right, we're gonna need this from later. It's like some stuff from playing the remake is helping. I remember some general things here, but I know it's gonna be pretty different. I mean, there we go. They gotta give me some ink ribbons. Okay, I would preferably not like to use just like normie green herbs. You guys don't hear any crackling. I hear like slightest crackling sometimes just from the setup. I don't think you guys hear it, right? It's a me thing. And bullets in the drawers? Okay. I don't necessarily want like too much of like those little like tips. Not too bad. Generally I'll be okay. If I miss a little item here and there, that'll be okay. Okay. There you go. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to these bullets though. I will need those. Is there anything we should start with? I mean, you're gonna start with this one. You may as well start with one. It's not too different. Which Disney character could hang with the cast in already game? Goofy or Donald? I mean, they all have like cartoon immunity, so they would all be fine. It would be kind of loathsome ghost coded if you ever seen that cartoon. Yeah, alright, Resident Evil 2 Remake's not a terrible starting place. I mean, like, there's an overarching plot. It's not too important. You can kind of jump around a bit. That's what I've done. My journey through this series has been all over the freaking place. What is going on? I don't remember this. The God of Sun and the God of Moon, their gaze upon me is the only thing that can release Red Soul. Alright. It's a block-pushing puzzle. Absolute chump. Thank you so much for following. I appreciate it. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What? A little too close still. I wonder if I should put it in like that little indentation area. The one over here? Yeah, probably. Let's do that. I like pushing blocks. I don't mind it. Pragmata has kind of a twist on box pushing puzzles as well, and I like them. You. Then you would love Intelligent Cube. I probably would. I liked Catherine. I'll never unlock Tofu. I still stand by the opinion that Tofu being that visible in your first playthrough of Resident Evil 9 is a little weird. Yes, I will. I think that's what Apu touched in the Cave of Wonders. Hey, D-Boy, thank you for the stream streak. Hey, look, we're already at the STARS office. Neat. And yeah, I know I don't actually have to worry about Mr. X in my A playthrough, so that's wild. Ooh, this looks different. Here's Rebecca's little area. It looks like a rookie's desk. That's right. Oh, can I not access their little pouch and get my med kit in this one? Lame. Oh, already? We got the shotgun. A grenade launcher, even. Jeez. I'm shocked a little. That music's cool. Wait, Jill has a boyfriend? Oh, yeah, Jill has a boyfriend. Oh, there's her little hat. All right. There's his diary. Talked to the chief today once again, but he refused to listen to me. I know for certain that Umbrella conducted T-virus research in that mansion. Anyone infected turns into a zombie. They changed it to a dog in the remake. Good. The entire mansion went up in the explosion, along with any incriminating evidence. What about the crater? Since Umbrella employs so many people in town, no one's willing to talk about the incident. Looks like I'm running out of options. We've been receiving a lot of local reports about strange monsters appearing at random throughout the city. Must be the work of Umbrella. With the help of Jill and Barry, I finally obtained information vital to this case. Rebecca did nothing. Umbrella's begun research on the new G-Virus, a variation of the original T-Virus. Haven't they done enough damage already? We talked it over and have decided to fly to the main Umbrella HQ in Europe. I won't tell my sister about this trip because doing so could put her in danger. Please forgive me, Claire. I wonder if this is the plot of Code Veronica. Oh, the unicorn! Yay! Oh, my inventory's getting too big. Maybe. This music's so sweet. Okay, yeah, this is a little bit of a different layout. Marksman Contest winner Chris Redfield, good for you. Alright. I love Barry, how dare you? It's not with an E, it's fine. Are these CDs anything? You know, there's a lot of other STARS members in those games. Where are their deaths? Okay, that's probably it. Here. Yeah, but I got the grenade launcher before the... Oh. The heck? Investigation report. Mr. Chris Redfield, Raccoon City Police Department, STARS Vision. As per your request, we have conducted our internal investigation and discovered the following information. Regarding the G-Virus currently under development by Umbrella Inc. So far, it is unconfirmed that the G-Virus even exists. Continuing with our investigation. Regarding Mr. Brian Irons, Chief of the Raccoon's Police Department, Mr. Irons has allegedly received a large sum of funds and bribes from Umbrella over the last 5 years. Apparently involved in the cover-up the Mansion Lab case, along with several other incidents in which Umbrella appears to have direct involvement. Mr. Irons had been arrested under suspicion of rape on 2 separate counts during his years as a university student. He underwent psychiatric evaluation as a result of the charges, but was released due to circumstantial evidence as well as his phenomenal academic standing. Such extreme caution is advised when doing them. Jack Hamilton. No, I never read the Resident Evil books. Oh, good. Get out of here. I haven't had to shoot anything in a while. Okay. Well, we got a bunch of things because we're heading back down. Downstairs. So, I know what the medallion's for. I'm not sure what this gem is for yet. I might have to put it in storage. Also a little afraid about saving. I don't know how many ink ribbons I'm getting in this one. I just don't see myself using this knife very often, I gotta be honest. Oh yeah, Saber music is always so freaking good, man. Close this room. Right, we killed a lot of zombies in here before. And this was locked and it needed diamond key. Yeah. Did I like the Requiem Saver music? Yeah, I liked it. I think RE1 Remake is still the king. No, I liked it. I gotta be honest. I was actually not thinking I was gonna get scared. I'm like, it's a PS1 game. Those can't scare me anymore. That got me. Get off of me! Jesus. Alright, don't stand by the open doors anymore. Jesus. Man, I tell you what, at least I handled that so much better than I would have as a child. I don't need to go in that room for anything. Jesus Christ. The Kite Man Sekiro was pretty good too. So far, I think the most scared I was. No, thank you. So far, I think the most scared I've been on stream was the mother popping up that one time in Resident Evil 7. Okay, we're good? Jeez. I did not know. I guess this is the game's dog through the window moment, which did terrify me as a child. Okay, no thank you, window. Oh my god. Yeah, I played Silent Hill F when it came out. I only got to play through it one time, but it was great. Like someday when I'm really all done with the Resident Evils, I can see myself going back to some of the other. The only Silent Hills I've played are 2 Remake, and F. Oh, yeah. Hey, Flex Retro. Remember the Wuzzles? Yeah, I was never a huge Wuzzles fan. Thank you so much for 11 months. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Oh, yeah, I never went through this door over here. What's this about? God, this music's great. Whew. Yeah, so once I beat this, I'll still have original 3. Sounds like a liquor. Baby. Jesus Christ! How many of those people will this kill? I played OG1, yeah. No, let me take care of these guys, then I'll return to that thought. Jesus. Oh, not him. I was hoping this would have a little bit more AoE, I gotta be honest. Oh, there we go, that's more like it. Get off of me. Alright, not the greatest use of rockets in the world. Leave me alone for a moment. I don't like that I use 3 grenades there, but so be it. So yeah, I'll have to still play original 3, Code Veronica, Revelations 1, Revelations 2. And that'll be it for the main line, so making good progress. Okay, who's still alive? The thing about shooting the zombies in this game still feels pretty satisfying. No, I didn't mean to check. And sex. I gotta forget about sex, right? Hey, babe, did you like that clip of me getting legit terrified? Christ. Yeah, oh my god. This is not good. I'm not safe in a hot moment. Ooh, ooh. Oh, get off me. There are too many zombies. God, no, 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 no. Oh, am I dead? Oh my god. Okay. Oh, this is where we are. All right. You aren't gonna fool me. God, there's so many zombies. There's too many zombies. I feel like there's so many more zombies. Can't see. No. Oh boy. Oh boy, I can't see. Can't see where I'm turning. You dead, man? Yes, I will take that. Can't tell if them twitching is a good thing or a bad thing. going through bullets all of a sudden. Alright. What did I say? I think this is the right one. 2236. As long as there's a blood pool, should be okay. Oh, good. I could actually use acid rounds. Damn. Yes, that's good too. Okay, okay. Okay. Good, good, good. Look, it's important that we're clearing this out. Thought I saw an ink ribbon. Like a little black pixel you gotta keep an eye out on, but found it. Yeah, you gotta keep a map of the place you work at safe. Yeah, look. That's why I laugh so much that people are memeing on the I didn't hit any of her vitals thing in Resident Evil 9. Like, of course that's stupid. But I think it's funny that that's like the thing that's really broke the camel's back for everybody. Well, the very stupid things that have happened in this series over the years. I came in this way? No? Oh, wrong button. Where am I? Yeah, I was mostly just happy I heard the line because I was sad at me that, you know, going on there. Geez, that's Can I just use these herbs and pick these ones up? Like, look, maybe they could have found a better way of explaining it. Look, they were too busy trying to write that incest backstory for Alex. Jesus, how many herbs are there all of a sudden? Or something. I did see how they patched it. They did it too. If you're gonna change it, change it. Freaking weird. Or Matt McMuscles is in shambles. Crunchy ground. I never played Nightmare Creatures. What's over here then? Don't have the heart key. Come on. These sounds are just good. Man, yeah, this is good. It is actually pretty impressive, the increase in production values from 1. All of a sudden I'm drowning in herbs. Gonna pick them all up. Kaiju Kyle, thank you so much for 14 months. Appreciate that. Hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, who's here? It's a blood pool. I didn't need to shoot those. It was just too dark. I blew it. Fine. Ay, ay, ay. Trying to get worried I'm shooting too many of the zombies. But These corners aren't exactly big enough to dodge them. Okay, how many more zombies are there? Oh, come on, lady. No, for crying out loud. Okay, she's dead. Can I dodge one of yous? Nope. Which key do I have? Fade. Oh, here we go. I don't have any room for it. I gotta be close to the save room or something. This is shoot PS1. I mean, this is what PS1. I mean, this is what a PS1 game looks like when you aren't playing it on a CRT. I like the way it looks. Finally, some ammo. Some magic mirror. I mean, a two-way mirror. Magic mirror. Yeah, it's a PS2 technically. Yeah, no. Oh my god. Got one for everything but friggin' spade. Okay, fuck off of me. What was that lunge, dude? Yeah, eat shit. Got to get that red herb some other day. Okay. I mean, I think the spade's gonna work in the other hallway. At least we cleared this out a little. Best movie scene involving a one-way mirror. That's, man, I don't even know. I mean, it's not a movie scene, but I think of the Itchy, Scratchy, and Poochie episode of The Simpsons. I should watch the CG movies. I've heard those were bad. Man, it's been a while since I've seen The Rocket. I've never seen True Lies. Two-way mirror. Yeah, well, yeah, one. Alright. I think we can now save as a treat. Best funny Arnold Cyber Commando. Yeah, Commando is on top when it comes to just like funny, entertaining action Arnold. So freaking good. Commando's like one of my favorite movies. I love it. Hey, Arbitrary Water, thank you for the raid. Hope you're doing well. Playing some Resident Evil 2. Happy Jackie Robinson Day. Favorite baseball movie? Major League for you. That Jackie Robinson movie was not bad. I like Moneyball quite a bit, though. Moneyball is good stuff. I also Major League is incredible, and of course it's Cleveland, so I love it for that. So Major League up there. As a kid, I loved Rookie of the Year and Angels in the Outfield, but Rookie of the Year even more. The fishing Resident Evil 0. This game is gonna feel like a cakewalk. Yeah, that is kind of what I think. 0 was pretty difficult compared to this. It's nice to play 0 as early-ish as I did. This does feel a lot nicer. Oh wait, I should put the ribbons in. There we go, that's better. I've always liked Sandlot okay. I never liked Sandlot as much as some people. Field of Dreams is very good, yes. Sometimes I'll maybe a smidge sappy, but pretty good. Okay, right. Windows are an issue here. Be careful. There we go. I don't know where the shotgun is. I'm gonna be pushing that for some reason. This you can really tell when something is an interactable element. Oh, well, I think I see what we're getting here. I see what's happening here. League of Their Own is actually very good. As a kid, though, I was like kind of mortified by that scene where like the army dude comes in with like the "sorry your husband died" letter, and all the girls are afraid it's gonna be for them. It's one of those like first having to confront what it's like when important people to you die scenes for me as a kid. But it's a very good movie. Basketball, I haven't seen Basketball in forever. I've never seen like The Natural. Did Buddy the dog ever play baseball? I'd be shocked if he didn't. But dogs actually are pretty good outfielders, so that would be right. Like that'd be the one he should play. But you always need a crank in these games. Major League 2 is fun also. Ain't no rule says the dog can't play baseball. Where's this scary window? Put it there. I don't think there's anything else in that room. What are we gonna crank? You can use the Wild Thing haircut in your creative players and it will be the show. That's cool. I haven't played the show in a hot moment. I always liked them though. I don't think there's anything I need to do in the save room. I guess I can drop off the crank. Just don't want to find out I'm going to need it real soon. Mouse PI, it's not an immersive sim. It's definitely more of a boomer shooter, but it's also like it wasn't as boomer shootery as I was expecting. It's like, I don't know, it has some more advanced elements than that. I liked it. I'm definitely the one at Giant Bomb who seems to like the game the most, and not just because of like the classic Disney stuff. I kind of like the structure of it. Things like that. Did the mouse PI? I'm not sure yet. There definitely are shrews in the game, like the actual animal shrews, and they are being rounded up. So, you know, that's something. Oh shit, it's Sherry from Resident Evil 9. God damn it. This is why you don't aim up. It's actually just kind of not worth it. There's the blood. All right, discard that baby.
Leon!
No, Leon. Let's split up immediately.
Claire, you made it.
Yeah. Have you seen a little girl around here?
Yeah, you just missed her. Who is she?
I sent her off on her way.
No. But it's too dangerous for her to stay here alone. Leon, I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Of course. But before I forget, here's a radio. That way we can keep in touch if something comes up.
I'll go look for her. You go and find us a way out of here.
Sure. Oh, the library. Go, you looked at all of them? Yeah, buddy. Keep shooting, asshole. Jesus. Yes, push the button. Hey. Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna be important. This is a save room. Look at us. Secretary's diary. I accidentally moved one of the stone statues on the second floor. I don't even guess that. When the chief found out about it, he was furious. I swear the guy nearly bit my head off. Permit me never touch that again. If it's so important, maybe he shouldn't have put it out in the open like that. I heard that all the art pieces from the chief's collection are rare items, literally worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know which is the bigger mystery, where he finds those tacky things, or he's getting the money to pay for them. I know where he's getting it. I wasn't surprised to see the chief come in today with yet another large picture frame in his hands. This time was a really disturbing painting, a nude person being hanged. Yeah, I was appalled by the expression on the chief's face as he leered at that painting. Anyone considers something like that to be a work of art beyond my comprehension. All right, I know that painting. No ink ribbons here. I'm a little afraid to save then. Oops. I'm starting to get concerned about ammo. I've been shooting too many zombies. There is an ink ribbon here. Yep. Alright, may as well save then. Might make a new save just in case. Yes, 3AS has good videos on the RE2 speed runs, the RE3 remake speed runs. Jesus, dude. Yeah, boy. I need some ammo. Might have to start grenading people. Well, he shows up immediately in the B scenario, which felt pretty different to me, Mr. X. Oh. Oh, is that a fucking... Oh, for crying out loud. Get the fuck off of me. Oh, great, I'm missing like crazy. There. Yeah, oh my god. Where are we? I see. Been pecked to death. Oh no. Ah, God, no, I'm not shooting any more birds. No more birds. I'm starting to get buzz on Blue Sky, hell yeah. Look at me go. Oh, for crying out loud. I really... Okay, I'm going to kite some of you assholes. I really cannot be shooting all of you. Get out of my way, lamp. Get scared more. Hey, Jeff. You dead yet? Oh, shit. Take the valve handle. This is that gun I probably could have gotten sooner, but didn't. I mean, look, at this point, I just want the ammo. I'm not gonna save here. I saved not that long ago. Anything over here? Nope, nothing special. Ah, what? Leave! No. Oh. Alright then, I guess I shouldn't have opened that door. What other Mario games to you could fit under the experimental Sub-Zero? I mean, I don't know. I mean, they all experiment a little bit. What, Mario Maker? New Luigi Brothers U, which actually didn't. Mario's missing. Yeah, there you go. You're about to take on True Corrupted Monk on your third try. Go for it. I believe in you. Okay, we gotta dance again here for a bit. The valve handle was the important item. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're good at video games. Look at that. Now we gotta run past the birds again. Hotel Mario. There you go. Mario Clash. Mario Paint, actually, yes. Yoshi Safari, maybe. Look at these proggies. Do I still have the handle? What's I gonna need the handle for? Yeah. Well. Surely I didn't do that just to get some bullets, did I? Maybe? That's it? Alright. Guess so. I mean, I'll take it. Alright, birds. Run, run, run. Am I? Right. Ah, this is why I turned the fire off. This is also where Mr. X showed up. Did I go the wrong way? Where'd that scream come from? Gotta be. Oh, I see. Yeah, I can go that way. Oh yeah, they did. Can I actually open this door? No. I think so. There's no choice but to take out the wall. What do you mean? Oh, I don't want to waste a grenade. I'm just gonna ask you, chat. If I shoot this with a grenade, is this wall gonna break? Because otherwise, I'm not doing it. I ain't wasting a grenade. I'm cheating. Nope, I didn't think so. Let's just leave that alone. Yeah, don't have the item yet. Well, I hope that woman who screamed can wait then. There's something shining over here. Oh yeah, huge. Huge, huge, huge. Tyrannus the Brave revives with 2 lights. Oh. Ah. Yeah, I can put my gem there. And need another gem. A fist-sized hole. Weird way of describing it, I gotta be honest. Honestly, it's probably better to go down those stairs than go back through that long way. It's kind of annoying over there. Birds are still an issue. This little... No, we're good. Alright, probably just go out to the main... Yeah, I can open that door up there. Not this one yet. I want to go back to the main... Well, over there to the left, the main room is a storage box. Use that. Maybe save after I use the storage box. Real quick. Oh. Wrong way. It's one we don't have yet. This is, like, definitely a more intuitive game than Resident Evil 1. I mean, easier, too. I died, certainly, a few times in Resident Evil 1 at this point. And also was maybe more lost. I don't know. I mean, I haven't had to fight a giant snake yet. That helps. Still can't pick that up. Alright, there's no point getting the one diamond out until I have both diamonds. I don't know when I'm gonna need that again. I don't want to carry both these guns. We're fine with just this for now. Gotta keep that, gotta keep that. And then... What happened to my wheel? The wheel did disappear? When did the wheel disappear? Good. I like my little shortcut. Good shortcut. That's right, there's another Silent Hill game coming out this year. That's wild. That one's good also. It's ridiculous how well they've been doing that series. Detective X, thank you so much for following. I appreciate that and hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Drop off our ink ribbons. Okay, we have a good amount of ink ribbons all of a sudden. Don't know when that happened, but I like it. Yeah, all the way over there. And go into the... Actually, no. The dude locked the room over there, right? So we have to go the long way. Gotcha. We'll do that. I'll go to the bathroom real quick first. Be right back, everybody. That is a track that my friend made, inspired by Ridge Racer 4's soundtrack, actually. You have to try it around a group. It's good to know. It's funny because that's like such a mental block for a lot of people. Not too much of an issue. Just defeat a true corrupted monkey or 4-try. Pretty good, not bad. Oh, I gotta try Windows. Careful. Although maybe they don't do it anymore. I don't know. I'm not gonna check. What was this room? Probably nothing. You know what? I want the lighter. That occurred to me. Maybe I can burn that painting and get something. Well, Dan didn't like the corrupt monk. I was surprised Dan struggled and maybe didn't like the Great Ape a ton. But he's showing that boss more than other ones. That's like my favorite boss in the game. God, Sekiro's so good. I just think Guardian Ape had like my favorite parry sequences. Just felt so good. Yeah, Pragmata, man. I'm excited for Jeff's launch look of it. But yeah. But I see what he thinks of it. I think he's gonna like it a lot. What's a launch look? Jeff's gonna play it for the first. He's gonna start from the beginning and play for at least a few hours. I got a little snarky on Blue Sky, and look, I've done this too, but like, you know, a lot of people are like, Pragmata's like a PS2 and Xbox 360 game, and I know they mean that in a positive way. And I said things like this before about other games, and I'm like, we need to stop saying this about games. We need to think of more interesting ways to talk about these games, I think. Oh. Yes, that's what I meant to do. Melt it. Of course. Oh, hey, look! Oh, damn. Alright, let's go drop these back off in the box, then we'll see what else is over here. We have both gems now. Look at me go. I'm a genius. How does it feel to know me? Vinny and Alex were cooler on Pragmata than us? Interesting. It is interesting because, like, there are some who aren't into it. A couple of the kind of funny fellas weren't as into it. Interesting, though, that Vinny and Alex weren't. I love it. Brad called it a game-ass game. Yeah, it is, for sure. But, like, it does, like, I don't know. I also think, like, the story stuff and whatnot is good, too. But it's for sure a game-ass game. He meant it very positive. Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure, for sure. I just mean, like, I don't. Sometimes, like, something a game-ass game can almost sound like belittling a little bit. I know it's not meant, but you know, like, yeah, we don't need somewhere. Like, I like Pragmata's story and characters a lot more than other games that focus exclusively on that stuff. I think most people are gonna dig it. Or maybe everyone's gonna hate it. It's gonna be a reverse Crimson Desert, and I'm gonna lose my mind and quit games media. I don't need to go back in here. But you get so used to the tank controls right away. The tank controls are just good. They just feel good, actually. I have been wondering about that. Well, Crimson Desert will do very well in the fan voting. It'll still lose like whatever Korean or Chinese mobile game bribes its fans into voting. It'll do well in that. I wonder if it'll be nominated for Game of the Year. I think it's over here. This one, right? Yeah. Jesus Christ. Out of ammo. Good run. Come on! Get off of me. Jesus. Oh boy. There we go again. The Dan98, thanks for subscribing to Prime. Appreciate it. Hope you're doing. Oh, you're so alive! Holy shit. Thank you, Dan. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate it. I hope there's some ammo in here. What was this? Oh, hey! I know what to use that on. Oh, I need a detonator still. Shit. Oh, convenient. A lot of them, too. Hell yeah. Yeah, I can get the revolver oscillate now. Exactly. Oh, fuck. Where did you even come from? Ooh. That's what these are for. Oh. We can take that to the one save room. Find all sorts of goodies. Nothing else? Okay. Yeah, the N64 port is like it's supposed to be pretty complete. Like there's like sound quality a little worse, video quality a little worse, but you wouldn't really notice or care that much. Oh, there he is. No, he's still over there. How you doing, buddy? Oh no. Oh no! Okay, hey, wait a second. Gotta give me a chance to shoot him. Shoot him! In the dick! Phew. Yes, I will take the detonator. Thank you. Welcome, Leon. We did it. I know there's a Mega Man game back here. Oh, shit. I want that ammo, though. Memo to Leon. Congratulations on your assignment to the Raccoon City Police Department. We all look forward to having you as part of our team and promise to take good care of you. Welcome aboard. All the guys at RPD. Makes you wonder, like, They got this on PS1. It's 2 discs. Makes you wonder if it was at all possible to have done like Final Fantasy VII. That would probably have been compressed to hell. Okay. I guess we can drop some stuff off and then get that ammo. I did not come across the Mega Man suit. No, I didn't do it. Like, I did not 100% that game, so who knows? Right. The item box is over here. There are skins. I mean, it might be in the game. It might be like a reward for 100%ing or doing all the bonus stuff. I don't know. Boy, what do I want to, like... I have a lot of stuff I kind of need to use. Question is, what first? Let's worry about the plastic bomb and the detonator later. Let's, Gosh, I have... wrong button again. I have the 2 jewels. Let's go get that handgun ammo. Let's develop the film. Let's do that right now. Maybe let's just develop the film right now. I think it's over this away, right? Where's that save room? Whoops, wrong button. Yeah, it's right before the stairs. Actually, it'd be faster to go the other way, huh? Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, it's weird. That's the weird thing with cartridges. They could just vary wildly in price. We had a software, etc. on our mall. It eventually became just a GameStop. But when I was younger, software, etc. And I liked that name more, and that was... I mean, that for a while, that was the only dedicated video game store in town, so I liked it a lot. Like, I can remember, you know, I remember getting Saturn games there and stuff like that. Before that, it was just Toys R Us. And then when the Best Buy opened, that was a very good place for video games for a very long time. Sears had video games. That kind of dropped off on that after a while. You worked at Software Center for one day. Was Cleveland a Funkoland, EB, or GameStop City? At one point, we had all of them. At one point, my town had a GameStop, a Funkoland, and an EB. And then the Funkoland just also became a GameStop, and then the EB Games became a GameStop, and the Software Etc. as well. The GameStop bought all of them. Alright. Virus shit. What am I closest to now? Yeah, gosh, I feel like... I feel like both the thing for the jewels and for the explosives are on the other side, actually. Somehow. I don't think there's any reason to go upstairs here and then walk back. It's kind of more complicated that way. Also, apparently I've never opened that door over there. There's a couple of doors over there never even opened. That's weird. We should probably go look at those. Get that handgun ammo on the way. We had a KB Toys as well. And, like, it was pretty close to our Software Etc. in the mall. So, like, if the Software Etc. didn't have it and you were desperate, you checked out the KB Toys or the Sears right by it. This way, right? No, this way. Circuit City was, when they opened that, wasn't as good as Best Buy. In fact, I remember for some reason they strictly did not sell on 64 games, but they had all the PlayStation games. They had computer games, so it's fine for that. Wait, is that blood in the cooler? No. Circuit City had a good, TV selection. They had good computers. The most fun place to go to computers was Gateway. Do I have a Fry's? No, I didn't see a Fry's. And the Children's Palace. Walmart, too, was not bad for games. Of course, once that opened. Kmart, less reliable. Found Blockbuster, Planet Video, Hollywood Video. So Blockbuster at first, we had a Hollywood Video open. And the Blockbuster actually shut down, like, well before they all shut down. Our Blockbuster shut down, so it was just the Hollywood Video. So I actually mostly think of the Hollywood Video. I probably rented most of the games of my life in Hollywood Video. Of course, like, that was also an era where every grocery store just also had video rentals for some reason, so he would do those there as well. Video and games. But I liked Hollywood Video. It was pretty good. Renting games used to be so much fun, man. Okay, I'm like concerned I have too much. My inventory is going to become a mess here in a moment. What the hell's the Eagle Stone? This game's scarier than I was expecting. Jesus Christ. I'm just running. Screw that. Jesus Christ. You all knew, didn't you? You all knew, and you didn't warn me. Which I don't blame you. It was funny. Christ. Oh my God. That got me good. Jesus. At least I could make an herb mix. my philosophy on jump scares has changed a lot in recent years. I do actually think they're pretty fun now. I don't have the club key. Why is it green? It looks like I can open it. What is green? Maybe green just means club. I don't know. Big club, and you're not in it. Sorry. Something up here was a save room, right? Yeah. Can exchange some items. You know, it gets the blood pumping. Being scared's fun. I think being scared like that is fun. I think being, like, grossed out or, like, I don't know, whatever that feeling you would call when you're watching, like, the torture porn movies. I don't like that. I don't know if scared's the word anymore. No. Yeah, now we're going back up here. I had to go down that way. Or is it over here? Get one of these. Don't go down that road. One of these is a save room. Check both of them. Might actually be this one on the left. It's like a little. There's a part of me. It's like, boy, this RPD stuff's great. Here we go. And then I'm not looking quite as forward to sewers and research lab, but that's just kind of classic Resident Evil problem there. Okay, this cord is for somewhere else. Oops. That's right, I put the valve away. I guess we could take the jewels and the explosives out. Might as well. I could combine these. Okay, good, because I actually need to take ink ribbon now. We're gonna save. Which RE game has the best second half? That's a good question. Because a lot of them, the second half's usually rougher. Like RE7, it's rougher. I think like Last Third's even better way. And Village isn't bad. I don't mind the island in 4 like some people. I kind of like the island. Yeah, Resident Evil 5 actually kind of has a fun last act. That's true. I mean, I think my favorite boss fight in the game is against Krauser on the island. I think those enemies you have to fight with the X-ray thing is neat. Alrighty. I don't believe you. There we go. That's safe. Hey, it's a raccoon. It's Raccoon City. Oh. Christ!
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I thought you were another one of those zombies.
Who was
Are you
she?
Chief Irons?
Yes, that's me. And just who are you? No, don't bother telling me. It makes no difference.
Shoot him!
You'll end up just like all the others. That's the mayor's daughter.
Oh.
I was told to look after her, but I failed miserably. Just look at her. She was a true beauty.
We're all looking for the guy who did this.
Short of perfection. But it will soon putrefy, and she will turn into a zombie within the hour, like all the others.
There must be some way to stop it.
In a manner of speaking, there is. Either by putting a bullet through her brain, or by decapitating her completely. And to think that taxidermy used to be my hobby. But no longer. Please, I'd really like to be alone now.
I would like to just shoot him, but I assume the game won't let me.
Please, I'd really like to be alone now.
Hope Claire isn't an idiot. Yeah, I don't think you can meet him like that in the remake. Interesting. What does this say? Nothing. Jesus. I don't trust these hallways. This time I'm ready. This is gonna be a bad room. Cherry, is that you? You gotta let me find you before the rapist does. Oh boy. Got a light switch. As I was straightening up the chief's room, he burst through the door with a fierce look in his face. It's only been 2 months since I started working here, but that's the second time I've seen him like this. Last time was when I bumped into that statue. Only this time he looked even more agitated than ever. I really thought for a moment that he was going to hurt me. If I discovered that the chief's been hiding along, if he finds out that I know, my life will be in serious danger. It's getting late already. I'm going to have to take this one day at a time. Oh boy. No, stop.
Wait.
Good job grabbing her.
Easy, easy there. I'm not a zombie. You're safe now.
Leon, come in. I found the girl, and I've cleared the wreckage that was blocking the corridor.
Got it.
I've been doing nothing.
My name's Claire. What's yours?
Sherry.
Do you know where your parents are?
They both work at the Umbrella Chemical Plant, near the city limits.
The chemical plant? Then what are you doing here?
Can I have your locket? It seems like a key
My
item.
mom called and told me to go to the police station because it was too dangerous to stay at home.
From the look of things, I'd say she was probably right. But it's dangerous here as well. You'd better come with me.
But there's something out there. I don't know what it is, but I saw it. Much larger than any of those zombies. And it's coming after me.
What was that?
That's what I was telling you about. It's here.
Sherry, wait!
Sure, I haven't looked through this room for items yet. Wonder if I could start a fire there. Oh yeah. Unless it's Birkin. Could be Birkin. Dutch Dynasty yet? No. I did hear about what happened on the show tonight, though. No spoilers, but I heard. Well, look who's gone.
Chief?
You know the chief killed that woman, right? That's the other key. Yes, sir. Nice. Chief's diary. It's all over. These imbeciles from Umbrella have finally done it. Despite all their promises, they've ruined my town. Soon the streets will be infested with zombies. I'm beginning to think that I may even be infected myself. I'll kill everyone in town if this turns out to be true. I was successful in spreading confusion among the police as planned. I made sure that no one from the outside will come to help. The delays in police actions, no one will have the chance to escape my city alive. Jesus. I seen to it personally that all escape routes from inside the precinct have been cut off as well. There are several survivors still attempting to escape through the lower levels, but I'll make sure no one gets out. I've had a change of heart about the remaining survivors of the precinct. I decided to hunt them down myself. Oh, that kind of change of heart. I shot Ed in the back through the... Why are you writing this down? I shot Ed in the back through the heart less than an hour ago. I watched him writhe in pain upon the floor in a pool of his own blood. The expression on his face was positively exquisite. He died with his eyes wide open, staring up at me. It was beautiful. Oh, he's a real psychopath. What if the mayor's daughter is still alive? I let her escape so I can enjoy hunting her down later. Jesus! I'm gonna enjoy my new trophy. Yes, first over in the pose I choose to give her. Okay, Claire, did you get all that? It's him! Oh, look at that. Alright, I have one of these blocks, so this is important. Claire, I swear to God, if the next time you see this chief, you don't shoot him on sight, we're gonna have a big problem. It's him. He's the murderer. Right, a lot of journal keeping is waved off, but this one, huh? I should run back. Yeah, let's go back to the save room real quick, drop some stuff off. Don't need to worry about the block yet. Yeah, this one, right? Yep. Yeah, it's fine. Good proggies here. Don't need to save. Yeah, the front door is still open, but aside from that, all escape routes. There we go. I'm assuming this is going to give me another one of those reliefs. Oh shit, cutscene. Yep. Oh, it's half of one. Jeez. Yeah, I'll take it. Okay. Let's get the power cable cord thing now. I'm not sure what the crank's for yet. Crazy. There you are. What's the best way to get... I have the hard key. I can go down there. I guess we can maybe do that. Or here-ish. Yeah, there's so many mind-blowing video games in '98. I mean, there's also Half-Life. Half-Life 1 was this year. Just, it's funny, it's like, you know, there's obviously advances happening right when this generation started with stuff like Resident Evil 1, and Mario 64, and then Final Fantasy 7, but '98, it really all comes together. Yeah, the portrait art's always very good. The fact that guy's corpse is still there makes me think he's gonna come back to life at some point. Oh, nice. We're already done with that key. Guess I may as well take these. Combine them if I have to. I just hope there's no... I mean, I bet it's gonna happen in the sewers. There's almost certainly gonna be poison once I get to the sewers. Okay, that's great. Oh, Jesus. But that was just a shortcut. Oh. Well, that's good. That's all that was for? I'll take it. Alright, so I never got the club key. Wee. What am I hearing? This is new. I've not been down here, apparently. That's terrifying. Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Him is kind of missing. Is this hitting you? It doesn't seem like it's hitting you. Oh my god, dog. I do not have that many bullets right now. Oh, shit. Take your grip. Great shots, no. I know for a fact that they're not. I need some fucking handgun ammo. I'm really hurting on that front. I know there's some that I passed up that one time. Jesus. Was this more another cable? Oh, map. What's the circle mean? I'm trying to hit this sweet spot, apparently. Oh, how much does this go down? Just a little bit. There we go. Wait, that's too high? Where does it need to be then? Right at 80? Perfect. Got it. Arm stop. That seems like a good thing. Where's that? Remember you fucking shotgun in there so I can shoot these dogs. I need that. Ooh, I need you too. Nope, not the room I was looking for. Get away from me. Okay, sometimes the dogs are really lethargic. Oh my god. This one. Go! Weapon storage. I mean, there's a card reader. I thought I unlocked it. I guess I just give it power. Oh boy. Run. Hey, it's the garage. This is where the dogs were in the other game. Sure, give me a lot of these. There's gotta be something I can do down here. But eventually we probably escape down here, but come on. should just not be down here. I mean, I just can't believe I'm not finding any more handgun ammo. Alright, I guess this time we are going to run like crazy down to the left. Something's on that map there. Jesus. What am I hearing? Better not be a fucking dog. It's not ammo? What is it then? Oh, for fuck's sake. Run. Yeah, I guess we're going down. I'm already in the sewers. I don't know if I want to be here yet. If you valuable, nice. Well, at least I got a save room. Now I need to take out. Need some more firepower right now. Is my issue. I need to stop soon. I want to poke. I'm gonna save and then poke around. Probably not save again. I'm almost gonna rewrite this save because I feel like that dog thing went rough, and I don't even know if I really want to be here yet. This structure is more different from Resident Evil 2 Remake than I was expecting, to be honest. Like in that game, you do not really go down here until you're pretty done with the priest. I guess you're not done. You go back. Guess I have plenty of healing items, so the damage I took, not that consequential. Wish I hope I can find that key card so I can open up. Oh, hey.
Sherry, I've been looking everywhere for you. I was so worried.
You go in this safe room?
Now, honey, okay? If we stay here, that monster will find us. Let's go.
No, I won't.
Why not?
What's the matter? Don't you trust me?
Let me say it like that.
It's not that, Claire. It's because of my daddy. He's over there. I heard him call my name. Daddy must have been attacked by the monsters. I have to help him.
Wait, Sherry. Don't go alone. Sherry! Sherry!
Sherry, you idiot. Oh! Okay, yeah. Well, let's save this for next time then. For sure. Because, yeah, I'm not about to do this whole thing. I like your key items, a picture. There you go. Well, that's pretty good. Pretty good proggies for the first day. Pretty good stuff. Hi. That game's pretty fun, it turns out. Okay, yeah, we're doing just fine. My biggest concern is my lack of handgun ammo. But, you know, that's what I get for shooting so many zombies when I first come across them. Yeah, turns out that game is very good. Alrighty. Good to have the PS2 hooked up and ready to go again. Vanille's on. Vanille's playing Final Fantasy 3. I haven't raided Vanille in a moment. Alright, everyone, thanks for hanging out. I'm sure this weekend we'll be getting back to Resident Evil 2. Good stuff. Tomorrow, Voiceville Dump Truck Super Eye Patch Wolf is joining us, so that'll be fun. Marry Me Tomodachi as well is back. And Game as the Size as well. So plenty of things popping off tomorrow. So I will see you all then. Have a good night. Oh, let's get the raid going. For real. Fantastic. Good stuff. Really am having a good time. Resident Evil. So good. So weird that it took me a bit to get this series, and now it's like one of my favorite series. For sure. Alright, say hi to Vanille, everybody, and good night. Bye. Woo.